Next on the Broadway Show, it's party time. We're at the Tony Awards after party at New York's iconic Carlyle Hotel with Broadway's brightest stars. Plus a recap of this year's biggest winners at the 2024 Tony Awards. I'm Tamsen Fadal, and this is the Broadway Show. Broadway's biggest night is now in the books. Now welcome to the party after the party. I'm Tamsen Fadal. We're on location at New York's iconic Carlyle Hotel, the place where Broadway's biggest and brightest stars come to party all night right after the Tony Awards. And we're rubbing elbows with Broadway's A-listers and giving you exclusive VIP access. But first, a blue carpet rewind. The 77th Annual Tony Awards, a celebration like no other. So let's talk about some of the night's biggest winners. Heading into Tony night, Hell's Kitchen was this year's most nominated musical with 13 nods. But it was The Outsiders that took home Best Musical. Stereophonic was a most nominated play in history heading into Broadway's biggest night, 13 nominations in total. And in fact, it won Best New Play. The revival of Merrily We Roll Along, starring Daniel Radcliffe, Jonathan Groff, and Lindsay Mendez, won the trophy for Best Revival of a Musical. And in the category of Best Revival of a Play, Appropriate picked up the win on Tony night.
I started in the theater and I grew up in New York City, and my first job ever was on stage, and my second job ever was on stage, and my third job was on stage. So this is how I started, and I got pulled away. But now that I'm back, I will say, I am so hungry for more of this.
How does it feel? I know how it feels to do the play, and when the play finishes. This is something else entirely. But it's incredibly meaningful, and I feel just honored to be in everybody's company.
This is the biggest dream come true, and I'll say it wasn't until maybe about 2 weeks ago that it occurred to me that because I'm nominated and the Tonys are a thing, that I could come home with this award. And I was just so honored to be in the category with those wonderful women and who I get to now call my friends and my colleagues, and I hope I make them proud by holding this.
It's not going to sink in for a long time. It's such a huge honor. I feel that Broadway has really been like a place that I've been able to come and like figure out who I was as an actor after finishing Potter. And you know, you're a tough crowd in the best way, and to have been able to like come and work consistently here and like I hope, you know, learn and get better, and now this it feels, you know, it feels really wonderful, and yeah, as I said, it's not going to sink in for a while.
We're going to catch up with Broadway's biggest stars and winners in just a sec, but first it's party time, so let's head inside the Carlyle. The party is officially getting underway. We're in the Café Carlyle, which is iconic New York. So let's talk about it, because this was an exciting night across the board, as Tony's always is. But there were a few surprises, as always.
Well, you know, as a big fan of musicals, there were a lot of musicals this year on Broadway. And the best musical race was honestly a nail-biter to the end, Tamsen. Throughout the night, it was very spread out among many musicals.
Yeah.
And so that finally the Outsiders triumphed, and big night for the Outsiders. It was also a great night for Stereophonic.
Yes.
Big night for that play. Merrily We Roll Along, which was a famous Sondheim flop. That's now a Broadway hit and a Tony winner.
It's always amazing to see what comes back and what becomes, you know, it becomes very popular all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And, you know, and the things that are new and really grab people's attention. But I was excited about The Outsiders because that was something I grew up with. You know,
Yep, same.
I remember. All right, great. Well, we're going to see a lot of the winners coming in the door now. How are you feeling right now?
Totally elated, on cloud nine. But, you know, I think The musical winning was an amazing feeling because I feel like it honors the work of every single person who's touched this, from Susie Hinton to, the folks who do our costume changes to the entire cast. So feeling grateful.
I have to say, seeing so many women on stage tonight made me feel really good, and I know you mentioned it as well.
Yes, it's wonderful. I think that 7 women being nominated for Best Director is a really big sign that people should take, that we can handle big budgets, we can handle big opportunities, we're capable, we're more than capable. Also The Outsiders was written by a woman. There's so many women on the creative team, behind the scenes, on all aspects of this, in the cast, that feels so good to be among them.
Mr. Jonathan Groff, Tony winner. Where is it? Where is it?
So right now, the Tony
Is that it?
That's not it. No, it's on a table a couple of rooms away from where we are right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you
I
able?
think it's safe.
Have you spent a lot of time with it yet? Have you spun it a lot? Have you?
My favorite thing tonight has been to give it to people to take pictures with.
Yeah, that's the thing. Everybody wants it, right?
Yeah.
They're like, you want a Tony, now give it to me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a picture.
Happily. Yeah, that's actually the joy of it.
So where are the emotions right now? This is something you've wanted your entire life. You gave a beautiful speech.
Thank
This
you.
was like an epic. This is like, I felt like it was like your memoirs. It was beautiful. I mean, like you really positioned this all very correctly.
I wrote something down in the event that it would happen because I wanted to say thank you to the community.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel so lucky to be a working actor. And to me, like, the opportunity to get on that stage is to acknowledge the incredible, life-changing effect that musical theater specifically has had on me. It's changed my life.
When you dreamt of something for so long and then you get to that point, how are you feeling in the hours since that moment on stage, and what was it like actually looking out at all those people?
When we got to the theater tonight, I felt serious. I felt unexpectedly serious. It felt important. I felt emotional, and I had my mom and my dad and my brother next to me, and it felt profound and big. I was expecting it to feel more like a party, but I was like, whoa, I might have to say something. This show, Merrily, has meant so much. And so it felt important. It felt like an important night.
Yeah.
The whole thing has felt important, but it's felt quite like free and emotional and joyful. And then tonight I felt like, oh my God, I'm at the Tonys. That's what I felt.
What a beautiful, beautiful night tonight.
Yes.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling amazing. It's been really, really special to see so many of my friends, so many of my colleagues, so many of people that I've worked with over the years and some I'd love to work with. Just to acknowledge my presence, and I'm grateful for this blessing. You know, it really is a blessing. I'm overwhelmed.
How is this for you? At this stage, you've been since you were very young. You made a big Broadway debut.
Yeah.
How does this feel right now for where you are in Hell's Kitchen and that role?
It feels like a full circle. I think primarily because yesterday was my 40th anniversary of walking into a Broadway theater. My first job was Dreamgirls with Michael Bennett, and so to be able to 40 years almost to the day.
It's beautiful.
Have this kind of acknowledgement and love and support. It is a full circle. It's what I hoped for.
You've become a regular at the Tony Awards with these nominations.
Yeah, I mean.
3 in a row.
3 in a row. I can't even believe it. I'm actually still trying to process the moment and process that it was Father's Day.
Yeah.
My dad's always
beautiful.
my +1.
Yeah.
And, we have our own little stories and Tony history stories now.
Yeah.
And
What was it like to have him there for this moment on Father's Day, like you said? I mean, just the emotions, it just heightened everything.
yeah, it really does. My father's a captain server at the Rainbow Room and has been in hospitality for so long. And anytime I anytime I get to celebrate him in a place, I try to do that. And so he's been my +1 because he's taken care of so many people. And, I always has he really been taken care of in these spaces in that way? And so it just means everything for him to be with me and kind of have been so supportive on this journey, but sit with me. And I mean, my mom and my brother were also present. They weren't sitting next to us, but they were also present for the moment. It was very special.
Yeah.
The party is just getting started here at the Carlyle. More Tony Awards coverage right after the break. You know it's all about the fashion on Tony night. Here's Charlie with more.
Okay, so we're talking looks, right, today, and I'm super excited because I imagine that there were probably some themes on the blue carpet this evening.
It was a blue carpet at Lincoln Center. How fabulous.
Yes, first time at Lincoln Center.
Yes, and it was so chic and so cool, and I feel like it was kind of an eclectic night, and Alicia Keys in Gucci, I brought down the house in that opening number. I was like on the floor, I had to pick myself up. The ambulance came, they took me to the hospital, but it's all okay because I'm here now and I'm breathing and everything is okay. And then I have to say, you know, it's like lots of different things, like Shoshana Bean also in kind of neutrals with Randy Rom. Randy does so much with the stars. And Shoshana was wearing an interesting sort of beaded skirt with a little cropped silk charmeuse top in cream. She looked stunning. Sarah Paulson in beautiful Prada, custom, hello, black and white with the beading. Could you die?
It's literally, literally.
Just gorgeous.
Let's talk about those like classic looks like Elle Fanning.
Elle Fanning in, yes, I saw it in that black suit.
Yeah.
Gorgeous with nothing underneath, you know, kind of like a Marlena Dietrich feeling, you know, she pulled it up. And you know, with the blonde hair and the makeup and the red lip and the cat eye, I was like, okay, Elle.
Was there one look for you in particular, one male, one female, I guess, that you just think took the show?
Eddie Redmayne.
Yes.
I loved, he wore this like black tuxedo, but it had like a big bow on the side and had like sculpture. And I'm gonna say that I really loved Cara Young.
Oh my God, in that green?
Oh, Bibu Mohapatra. How about that name of that designer?
Seriously.
Bibu Mohapatra, gorgeous green, major diamonds around her neck. She was stunning. And when she was on the carpet, honey, that girl knows how to move. She had chiffon underneath the sleeves of her dress and she would sling it open with wings and they would catch the chiffon all in the air. Oh.
And that icy hair though. I mean, literally.
I mean, she was fabulous, and her speech was just so heartfelt and so beautiful. So much fashion, so much style, so much excitement. That's what the whole night is all about.
George, it's been such a pleasure.
Oh my God, I love talking to you.
Seriously, let's do this again.
It's like you found us right in a corner, and we're just like throwing it down.
Indeed.
That's what it's all about.
Besties, immediately.
Yes, besties. Don't be jealous, but we are kind of
No,
besties.
be jealous.
No, be jealous. Yeah. Love you. Bye.
What do you want another young woman watching you tonight to see and to know? Because there's so many parts of what goes into this. You know, we see what we see up on stage, but we know that behind the scenes, it's a whole different story.
It's a lot of work, and so you just have to be rigorous. There are no shortcuts in this, but like put in the time, log your hours, you know, like make a plan, make a practice, have some accountability partners and your friends and collaborators, and like the hard work feels good. It feels good to work really hard and accomplish something and go through ups and downs and have setbacks, and like it makes hard work paying off is my favorite feeling, and I think, you know, you just have to stick with it.
So tonight, we are being honored for your good charity work. This is for the Isabel Stevenson. And a lot of this just sort of came out of being a part of Broadway, right? And being part of our Broadway
I would say more activism.
Yeah, activism.
Like I said in my speech, I came out as queer in 1985. I was 16, middle of the AIDS crisis. We went straight to the front lines to fight for our lives. I came to New York second semester, senior year of Carnegie Mellon to be in the original cast of Miss Saigon, and Broadway Cares was just being formed. Of course, the Actors Fund already existed. They taught an entire generation of theater artists how to activate. And I am grateful for that because I know what to do now.
As a teenager in Boston years ago, did you ever think that this was going to be part of the journey? I don't know.
Are you serious?
I don't know. I'm asking.
I'm growing up an Orthodox Jew in Boston who was obsessed with baseball and genuinely thought like an 11 o'clock number was what you ordered right before a deli closed. Like, you know, I didn't really.
No, I really, this was never something, I didn't believe this was possible 3 months ago. Why would my show get a Tony?
Right. And you can still see it, right?
It's on
Max?
HBO, yeah.
Okay.
And it's really, but like, I can't believe every step of this. Can't believe I got to do my show on Broadway. I can't believe it was warmly received. I can't believe that like theater people have felt like the show was written for them. I feel really, really moved by it. And I don't know why it's happening, but I'm not asking too many questions about it.
Look at that. An actual Tony, it happened.
It happened.
Right? This
Yeah.
is the dream.
This is my dream.
You're
for
checking
sure.
off a lot of dreams.
I did check off a very big dream. This whole time that I've been talking to you and anybody who wants to talk to me about being nominated for a Tony, I have made no secret of my absolute overwhelming feelings about the thing. So this is, it's outrageous.
It was like you were a theater actress, and then you went out to Hollywood and got some fame and got some great work and some awards out there.
I got a real, guardian angel in Ryan Murphy, who just gave me so many opportunities. And like, I played some extraordinarily special characters, but it's a Tony.
And the Broadway show is back in just a sec. The Café Carlyle is one of the great cabarets in New York. Let's send it over to Perry Sook.
Every Sunday night, of course, you get a great clientele here at the Carlyle Hotel. But tonight you've got Tony winners in the room. What is it like building a set list for the Tonys after party?
Well, we just do what we do. I will not be doing a Hell's Kitchen medley. I will not be doing an Outsiders medley. We do what we do. We do songs from the 20s, 30s, and 40s. And, it's fantastic to look out and see some of our showbiz heroes. It's so exciting, so glamorous. You never know who's going to be walking around holding their Tony.
So what is the difference between your normal night here at the bar and the Tony after party?
I had to take a nap for this one. So yeah, I know, starting so late, but it's a magical night. You never know who's going to show up. You never know what can happen. There's nothing like it. It's hard to describe. I remember 6 or 7 years ago walking through in the gallery, and there's Bette Midler, holding her Tony with her friends around her. I mean, you just turn the corner and you see great stars.
Will, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
At that.
I know, how crazy is that? It's so much heavier than I thought it was going to be. I also didn't know that thing spun. I didn't know it.
Did you really not know that?
I had no idea.
Well,
I also didn't even know that these faces were on it. This is all news to me.
How did it feel in the immediate after? Like when you just had that moment in front of everybody?
Honestly, I don't really remember what happened. Like, I know that they said my name, and I remember like thinking in my head, that's a mistake. They got that wrong. How embarrassing for me and for them. And then I tried to kiss my girlfriend, but she was so in shock. She had her hands on her face, and I was like, I have to get my face on your face. And then I kept cussing. I couldn't stop myself from cussing as I was walking down the aisle. I was like, so it was wild. It was a wild experience.
How'd this feel?
It feels crazy. It's amazing. I mean, I felt like the most British I've ever felt tonight.
Why?
Well, it's such a different vibe. It's just like so like warm and I mean, we're very warm in London, but it's a different thing, and I find that the Broadway community is relentlessly generous with each other. And that has just been so inspiring and something to take home and sort of build on.
We love a lifetime achievement.
Don't we? It's a one-off, No, look, I mean, I said a life in the theater. I've had a life in the theater.
Yeah.
And I'm going into rehearsal for a play in July with Patti LuPone and Mia Farrow.
Yeah.
And Patti and I last met in a rehearsal hall 50 years ago.
Broadway's biggest night is now in the books, but the Jimmy Awards are next on tap.
It's my life, it's now or never, and I ain't gonna live forever.
The Jimmy Awards is a huge and amazing event that happens in New York City every year, featuring the absolute best of the best musical theater talents from high schools all across America.
I believe deeply in the Jimmy Awards. Just to watch these students succeed, to be performing on the musical stage and to have that exposure, because even if they're not the actual two winners, everybody encourages them because they can get a role on Broadway. Intense rehearsals all day long. because at the end of it, there's an entire showcase in front of the industry where they're singing, they're acting, they're dancing on stage, along with the various selections. They say it's rewarding, but exhausting, and every one of our students who have come back to Nebraska have really enjoyed the experience.
Hi, I'm Rachel McAdams, and you are watching The Broadway Show.
That's going to do it for us in the 2024 Tony Awards. Until next time, from the Carlyle, I'm Tamsen Fadal.